Test. Zero latency. Test. Well, we are here. Welcome to another video. Finally, what a week. I'm doing this is my dream, and you two telling me not something, you know, utilitarian insufficient problems. Okay, I hope you are getting this live transmission well. We have a week where we have amazing action in the price movement. We could hit the high for silver price of 30, and all the people from Wall Street bets were here. The people was here talking about how high is going to go silver. There was a lot of action. Previously on last Sunday we talked about the high of silver, and people should stop having a crazy silver rush. Um, uh, we believe I have an error here with the transmission. I don't know what is going on, and the latency is very bad. It's very bad latency, but we are going to have enough fluently, so I'm going to cut it off. Not yet. Okay, so we have the hidden secrets of silver ETF SLV. The problem with this ETF is that it has a lot of risk, and we are going to explain to the people all the risks associated with the silver ETF. How we nail it, how we knew about the silver high of the week before the market opened. Well, this was all we have to know, is that the charts have resistance levels, and this is not GameStop, this is no particular stock, not a penny stock, and this is silver. Well, the enemy, for those who are thinking it that way, are the central banks at the gold banking cartel. This is the real action. Very deep pockets are needed to change this market. This is the silver market. It's a very important market, a very deep market. So today we are going to talk about its hidden secrets of silver ETF SLV. What is an ETF? It's exchange traded funds. It's a way you can buy silver in London, buying some shares which the price is 25 US dollars, and you get silver that is deposited in a London vault. So you get an exposure to the silver price on the silver ETF. So I'm a risk guy, I'm a precious metal guy, and I'm going to talk about all about these hidden secrets of silver ETF. I have to tell you that also we are going to have a great interview to one of the greatest gold experts of the war. You are the greatest war expert and the greatest gold manipulation experts of the war. I'm sorry. Let's start with silver ETF, quote SLV is the ticker price. And first things you will find is you will enter to iShares.com, and you will find that this ETF is controlled by Larry Fink. Larry Fink and BlackRock. BlackRock is one of the greatest world asset managers with $8 trillion in assets. $8 trillion in assets. So we are talking about one of the most important investment funds of the world. And they control a family of investment products, which one of them is SLV, the most famous silver ETF of the world. So you can see that BlackRock is this multinational investment management corporation, and they are one of the largest asset managers of the world. The world's largest asset manager. So we have these guys and the people from Vanguard. And the next thing you will know about BlackRock is that they are also the most important investors in the aerospace and defense area. So they are very important. They have a strong political power too. They are uh, not any common fund. This is the largest and most powerful people in Wall Street. So they are the guys who control the most important silver ETF. So you want to check what are the best and the most important BlackRock commodity funds. Well, here you are. You had IAU, which is a gold trust, SLV, and these are one of the two most famous precious metals ETFs. Also with CLD, which is for the gold trust, a gold ETF. So the iShares Silver Trust, the most famous Silver Trust, is not a standard ETF, and this is the legal stuff about US laws. Not important. I'm going to change. I'm going to move forward, and we are going to talk about the risk factors, the things that you will not read in other YouTube channels. So we are going to make an interview with one of the world leaders in gold manipulations stories, and it's a very important expert. And we are going to talk about silver, how to be your investment approach with silver. This is a growth of hypothetical 10,000 US dollars. And you see that, what do you see here? You see that the price of silver was really stacked for lots of years. So if you invest in silver, you are not investing. If you put money in silver, you are speculating or gambling. So to be a good speculator, you have to have systems of speculation. If you don't have that, you are a gambler. So silver went sideways for years. Um, One of the other things you have to check is the premium over net asset values. This is how much distance is between the spread between the price of the ETF and the asset values that the ETF have. So the ETF price should be close to zero, which when we are talking about the premium over net asset values. This means that the pricing of the ETFs is according to its real value. So you have to follow how the price of the ETFs moves regarding its net asset value. And the next important thing that you have to check is that these ETFs controls almost 700 million ounces. That means that we are talking about the ETF funds that controls 1 year of world mining production. 1 year of world mining production. This is a really large number. So these guys control 1 year of world mining production. This silver ETF was the inception date was in April 21, 2006. So here we have where we can find the most important data about silver supply and demand. Where we can find at the Silver Institute, which is an institute that takes information from the miners, and we have the idea that this could be the best information, but nobody knows for sure. Uh, I'm going to be might move forward because this is not going to be interesting. But the idea is that the total supply is around 1,000 million ounces per year. And Silver Institute believes that the silver market is on a surplus on a yearly basis. So we had the movement of silver going sideways since we have a surplus in the market which was systemic. So I don't want to keep with the boring stuff, but let's go to the next documents. What do they offer on the website? They offer a silver bullion list with 10,000 pages. What will you find there? You will find that they have their silver located on JP Morgan London vaults. This means that all the people from Wall Street Bet who were saying, well, let's crash JP Morgan, let's crash Wall Street, let's buy silver SLV, they were also sending money directly to JP Morgan through this SLV ETF. This is amazing, but this was promoted last week with a silver short squeeze. It was silver short squeeze. So the silver vaults are in London and are controlled by the London branch of JP Morgan. And you can see exactly where the silver is from this ETF. They have the Brinks vaults and they have the JP Morgan London, all based, mostly all the silver is in London. So if you keep checking who controls Brink, who owns the vaults, Brink, who owns the bonds? Well, BCO. Well, BlackRock. BlackRock, the same company that controls the silver ETFs, also controls Brinks, the famous Brinks Vaults company. So this is a big happy family, and very rich family, by the way. And I will go forward and check. I check the 10,000 pages PDF, the most important stuff. Well, they offer a silver bar list. Where is it silver? It's in London. And what about this silver? Who are Korea Zinc? And they have a lot of brands for the silver bars. And the bar number and the SA and the amount of fine ounces. For one bar you have 1,000 ounces per bar. This is a big bar. So I went to check this website, and yes, Korea Zinc is one of the largest and most important refiners in the world. This is South Korea, and I checked the product list, and they have this big silver bar of 30 kilos or 30 kilos or 66 pounds, like the number of the devil. So this is the kind of value we get in that vault. This JP Morgan London branch offers you the list PDF of 10,000 pages, which are extremely boring, but I'm showing you this pretty fast. So it's funny that the people from Wall Street Bets or maybe those hedge funds infiltrating this forum were claiming that they're going to destroy the silver price, and we predicted exactly before the silver markets opening last Sunday that nothing will happen, cool down, and the price of silver will hit 30 tops, and that's exactly what happened this week. So I'm going to allow my mentor about gold manipulation, and he confirmed he will allow me to give an exclusive interview next month on this channel. So please keep yourself subscribed, because this will be a world exclusive. So the guys from Wall Street Bets was claiming that they're going to crash the war, and they want to crash silver, and they want to crash the bank, buying silver. The amazing stuff is that they were sending money to the largest and most powerful people on Wall Street, and the money was stored in London and controlled by JP Morgan London branch. So this was really funny for me. That's why I made the live transmission. We was a success because a lot of people were here. This rumor that they want to crash Wall Street Bets was in all the mainstream media. Later it was denied by the people from Wall Street Bets, but the movement was on, and the people was expecting a big price and a big movement in the silver price. It happened. It moved. We covered that live, and we said that the price of silver was going to go up. Check the previous videos of last Sunday, and silver went up, but it couldn't surpass the resistance around 30. So you see, this is the list, and you see that the location of the London branch and where is the silver is there. So the silver short squeeze of 2021. The silver short squeeze, all the mainstream media were claiming that they're going to attack, and the silver gave a nice jump, but that was it. So I was saying last Sunday, people, please keep your finger on the trigger, because that was exactly what happened last Monday. And the silver price surged as GameStop traders moved into precious metals. You know that the price of gold and silver, I wrote about a book about gold manipulation in the past, and the price of silver has seasonal behavior. Also, gold has very important seasonal behavior, which is not a 100% rule, but we have a very strong downside movement or bearish movement on February, especially in February. February tends to be a bad month, so when I saw that they want to create a silver short squeeze just the beginning of February, I said this is not going to work, and that's why I made the video. So if you want to know who was silver short sellers, you can keep keep seeing that this was this was amazing movement they created. Um, this campaign already happened 10 years ago. This is from an article from December 2010, and it was a campaign created by a very famous activist, financial activist, whose name is Max Kaiser. And Max Kaiser was promoting the idea of crash JP Morgan buy silver of 2000, the same situation. So we have, if you compare 2000 and the last crisis and this crisis, we have these things: a financial crisis of 2008, monetary stimulus, and a virus, and the crash JP Morgan buy silver movement. The same thing happened 10 years later. We have a secret financial crisis that happened in 2019 on September, which was called, and very well known in the trend index, the repo crisis in the United States. It was rumored that lots of European banks had problems, just like 2008, and the Federal Reserve intervened very quickly and start pumping money in the system. Later, a virus showed up in Wuhan, China, and then coronavirus created the environment to keep pumping money in the system, and we have a V-shaped recovery. And later, what we had? A crash JP Morgan buy silver 2.0. Again, the same story. The people with the money of the stimulus get against Wall Street. The same story, the same thing over again. So the crisis, the financial crisis, the stimulus, the virus, and the crash JP Morgan buy silver movement, all the things happen 10 years later again. So this is Max Kaiser. If you don't know him, he's very crazy, and he was very pro Bitcoin 10 years ago, so he should be extremely rich now. He keeps doing his crazy things. Bit censor also. He was a bit censored. And if you want to know what happened to the price of silver after this movement in 2011, silver went with a very unknown manipulation. It went up to $50, and it says that there was a large bank behind it, not this movement. And the price of silver went to $50, and it was created by a big bank, and it stopped there. Do you want to know when was the last time silver went exactly to the same level? In the 80s, which was another silver cornering operation by the Hunt brothers in between 1979 and 1980. So the same thing and the same resistance were hit in the 80s and in 2011. By the Hunt brothers, who were oil guys from Texas, who cornered the market. And then what did Wall Street do with these guys? Well, they increased the silver margins and they forced them out of the market, and they took the money and they went bankrupt. They went bankrupt. The latest big guy who bought silver was, guess who? Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett bought silver at $4 per ounce, and it was heavily exposed, and he was very ashamed of doing that, and they were allowed to buy silver for the long term from London. So Warren Buffett also bought silver, and it was very investigated by the US government. So you don't play with silver. It's very, this is a market which is heavily controlled by, monitored by the government's the right and politically correct war. This is very monitored, very well monitored by the government. We talk all this stuff last Sunday before the silver market opening, and that 30 was the price to hit, and after that, if silver could surpass the level, and and we said that silver going to 30 was the most probable scenario, and that was exactly what happened. So we made that video last Sunday. So this is a free old tool, it's perf charts by stock charts. This is a very old tool, even before tradingview.com. And one of the things that you have to check in a silver ETF is that it is the correlation. This correlation is the name of the game. So I'm controlling that here in this slide, that the price of the silver ETF SLV moves exactly than silver, and you have to check that in all commodity ETFs. So it's okay. There is correlation and well correlation. The second thing that you have to check with an ETF screener like etfdb.com is the volume. You have to expose yourself to the best ETFs with great volume and compare expenses. You compare expenses, you have the expenses ratio. This means that they will sell silver and they will keep running the operations, selling a bit of silver. It's 0.5% per year. And I'm going to keep moving forward, and you have to check the taxes, and this is the most famous ETFs, and you will get different tax rates according to, this is all US tax rates and tax forms. You have to check taxes in your country and the tax exposure you will get. The other thing you have to check is ratings. You have these ratings, and the rest of the precious metal community will attack the silver ETF, claiming that they are just paper. I don't like that. They will say that because they want to sell you physical, of course. They will attack that. This was an operation that was talked over and over again for years, but nothing happened. The secret now. This is the secret now in the prospectus. It's the manual. You have to read the PDF, which is 50 pages, and to understand all the risks and secrets, you have to read the prospectus. Don't worry, I will tell you the secrets quickly instead of reading the 44 pages. Okay? I will tell you all the secrets. So if you want to deliver physical from SLV, you have to buy 50,000 shares or $1 million US. So you can get physical from the silver ETF. But it will get even more interesting now. So you can take delivery, physical delivery from SLV. You can take physical silver. However, there may be situations where the trust will unexpectedly hold cash, they say. Only page 5. This means that if something happens, I can pay you with paper dollar. If I don't get the silver, don't cry. I told you the rules. So if you quickly, they will tell you that if something happens, they may don't give you silver, only US dollar paper or cash. They are very clearly saying that in case of problems, they will pay you with cash all over the prospectus. This is perfectly legal and acceptable in this world. But you have it. You have a silver ETF, and you may get paper. This is called risk management, legal strategies and tactics. This is perfectly legal. Many silverbacks will scream with what I'm saying now, but it's real. This is called risk protection. So the trust is iShares, the trustee is BNY Mellon, and the custodian of the silver is JP Morgan Chase Bank London branch. They are the ones holding the silver with Brinks. Brinks is controlled by BlackRock, and BlackRock controls iShares. So you know the game now. You know the game. You don't vote here. This is one of the things. Delivery may be suspended if regular trading on NYSE is suspended or restricted. Hello, what's it? This is exactly what happened with GME last weeks. So they are clearly saying if something goes wrong, you could get hit, you will get the fees, and I won't get the fees, and I will get the cost. Other risks, they have the very clear risks pages. I'm going to make zoom so you get the picture fast. We don't diversify, they say. Just silver. Don't cry if silver moves and you lose. Blah blah blah. This is what they say. They sell silver to cover the fees. This is what written in the legal prospectus. If you trade commissions of your broker will hit. They are trying to teach you that if you trade silver, you will get hit by the commissions. And the fund ends on 2046. The fund ends. It will be terminating at that moment. And the page 13 clearly says that if there is an emergency and I cannot deliver you on time, silver, and silver goes down in the middle, it's not my fault. You get a loss. It's illegal as covering legal ops, if you could say badly with bad words. So what does it mean? This is exactly what happened to me with the DXO oil ETF in 2009. When crude oil prices hit a low, I bought a leverage ETF called DXO. That was in 2009. So Deutsche Bank, which was controlling these ETFs, bought the oil ETF, thinking that it was going to get leverage exposure on the bottom. They closed the fund and they gave me the price and a frozen price for 2 weeks. At the time they liquidated that fund, I got the price of 2 weeks before the liquidation. So I got frozen there, and the price of crude oil was going up. This is one of the things that you have to take in consideration. You will get your funds, ETF funds, terminated on any time, and they're going to get moving. And they say that those risks part 2, those when they control 75% of the fund together, they can close the fund anytime. See, when the holders of 75% of the shares, they have the power to terminate the trust anytime. This is page 15. And they also says and talk about the operational risks, blah blah blah. We have operational risks, you could suffer. It won't be my fault. This is what they are saying in the prospectus. Risk part 3. We can suffer and won't be our fault from, this is the most interesting part, from power or other mechanical or technological failures, interruption, computer viruses, communication disruption, war stoppages, natural disaster, fire, war, terrorism, riots, rebellions, insurrection, or other circumstances beyond the control of the trust or its services provided a nations, otherwise exposed to loss. Which means that whatever happens, which was not willful, it will be your cost. This is like being covering for 100% of crazy scenarios. So they have all the legal balance in their favor. I guarantee I will try to, and they said in legal words this phrase, I will guarantee I will try to recover everything. I will try, but not 100% guarantees you won't get hit. This is what they are saying in legal terms. And they went COVID on page 15. COVID here, blah blah blah. They explain that the COVID is here and may delay civil transportation and other risks, blah blah blah. If they added these words here, this paragraph. They said the trust may be negatively impacted by the effects of the spread of illnesses or other public health emergencies on the global economy. There is a very famous conspiracy theory that the goal in the World Trade Center was below the building, and when it was hit by the terrorist attack, the gold disappeared. So they never delivered that gold that was at the World Trading Center. And they added the claim says clearly prolonged outbreak could result in an increase of the cost of the trust. They say, hey, we have COVID, you could get even higher costs. So we have all this legal stuff balanced against the investor, but it's a safe way to create a fund. Just in case something happens, nothing happens to the banks. Or in this case, JP Morgan, BlackRock. Very good lawyers. If hackers attack any of us, they say sorry. And government doesn't regulate the custodian, but we will simulate we are being controlled and be a good puppy. This is what they say, and we will comply according to the best practices in the London market. This is what they are saying. So they are saying that the vault is not regulated by the government, but they will follow the best practices as if we are being controlled by the government. So they are clearly covering all the potential risks of lawsuits against them, even defaults. They go now to the subject or topic of default. Custodian has to pay for the damage to silver, this is the most funny part, for partial damage except for losses due to nuclear fission or fusion, radioactivity. If you get radioactivity in the silver bars, war, terrorism, invasion, insurrection like it happened in the Capitol, civil commotion, riot, strike, act of government, or similar cause beyond the control of the custodian, so whatever else escapes the control of the custodian, we are not going to get punished. You take the losses. This is a very, very unbalanced. They don't take any risk whatsoever. They clearly says that if they don't get the silver, they can pay you with the value of the amount lost. The value is, this means illegal, they could print money, they will get cash, and they will pay you with the cash. And will pay you with the cash, not the physical. This means if you don't like it and want to sue us, you will get to the New York courts. They are fixing the legal the legal location for lawsuits, which is New York courts. This is the most funny part in the prospectus. If silver bars are not 100% purity, it's not JP Morgan fault. They say that in the prospectus. Not responsible to anyone if this happens. So if they have a problem with purity of the bars, it's not the custodian fault. They say it clearly on the prospectus. And they also say that we'll tell everything to the IRS or whatever they ask, but in legal, normal terms. They say that they will disclose everything at the request of the IRS at any time. This is the custodian office this is a JP Morgan office in London. Next month we are going to make the interview to a world expert in precious metal manipulation. Hint, he's American. Hope you are subscribed. So what happened to the silver price? The silver price this week has its top, and this is WAT. We have this price of silver now. If you check the daily charts, it looks quietly bearish, not strong. So we have a double top clear with very strong rejection from a very clear level, which was 30, a very clear level. But in daily charts, it's still alive. Silver is still alive, so it most likely could move sideways between 25, 25, 26. If you check the gold prices, which is also tends to be a good way to get hints for the action on silver, you can see that you have two consecutive bearish months in gold. So I guess gold will take silver down. This is bearish. This doesn't look good for gold. This doesn't look good for gold. So most likely, it will take silver down with it. It will take silver down with it. This is not a financial advice. I am not a lawyer also, but I really had fun explaining like 45 pages of the prospectus in only 37 minutes. So this is all I have to say about this silver ETF. I hope you enjoy this quick update. Silver is going down according to the gold charts. This is going to get down as silver also tends to do in February. If you check the gold on a weekly chart, it's clearly going down. It's clearly going down, and it's clearly showing weaknesses. This area 1772 is most likely the level to test this month for gold. So I believe this is going to go down, and it's going to test this bar level here. Most likely this is a place. So all this crazy stuff about crash, shipping, mortgage, buy silver already happened 10 years ago. And be careful with the risk factors on silver ETFs. The price action clearly is showing that this is bearish as usual in February, but this is not 100% guaranteed. We can see that what keeps the hope is the price of crude oil. Crude oil is saying we are back to normal, and there are a rush of buying in commodities, because this is another reaction. We have a rush in commodities that are saying, well, this is a very bullish signal for crude oil, and when crude oil gets back to normal, the safe haven assets like gold tends to go down. This is what is happening. There is a lot of rumor that the Biden administration will put pressure on the value of the US dollar, and I believe this is possible. From the very short-term perspective, precious metals are going down. So I hope you enjoy this update. It was my pleasure to expose that all this crazy stuff about the silver short squeeze had no legs, and that was proven right to the next day, last Monday. Next month we are going to make this interview to a leading expert of gold manipulation and precious metal manipulation, who has been years and years exposing the gold manipulation internationally, and is very well known in the precious metal markets, and he was my mentor. So please subscribe, and hope you enjoy this quick update. Bye bye.